Good afternoon, Ancient Warrior here. I'm doing a second video today for a reason. And if you notice by the name on it, it said, "Let's stop the madness." I've been listening to a lot of people today who are yelling that we need gun control, we need this, we need that. Folks, we don't need gun control in the United States. If you want to see what gun control is going to do, go to Venezuela. Go to England, Australia, France, Germany, Sweden, Norway. Gun control is not about crime. Gun control is all about power and controlling the masses. As long as we have guns in our possession, the government can't get out of control. The Parkland shooting is a tragedy, any way you look at it. And there's 4 different groups involved in the tragedy. Number 1, the FBI was notified back in September, November by a YouTube channel that Nicholas Cruz had sent a post in. January the 5th, law enforcement was notified that he was wanting to do a mass shooting. The FBI is too busy trying to take Mr. Trump down and not paying attention to real threats. Who else is at fault? The FBI. How about school officials? They knew this kid had issues. Why did the school district not get law enforcement involved? From what I understand, he'd been threatening students for quite a while that he went to school there. I know teachers are overwhelmed by what they've got to deal with, but they need to get their head on their shoulders well enough to say, hey, this kid's a possible axe murderer in the making. Let's get the medical profession and law enforcement involved. That brings me to local police. School district should have reported him to local police. And they should have required a competency test, taken him through the court system and got a competency test for him. You know, this whole deal is nothing but, I hate to use this term, but it's true, it's comedy of errors. And the bad part is 17 people paid the price. Now we've got Washington, the yokels in Washington. The liberals and the Democrats are yelling, gun control, gun control. And you can hear them beating their little drums, gun control. We've got Grassley, a Republican, who's now open to talking about gun control. Let me tell you something, folks. The liberal left is lying to you. I went by back and did some checking yesterday after I read an article from Everytown saying there was 18 mass shootings or school shootings this year. A couple of the shootings were gangbangers shooting at each other. One shooting was a resource officer's weapon fell out of his holster and discharged. One was a kid who got caught with a unloaded gun in his backpack. You know, folks, we don't need to sensationalize problems. We got enough in this country. What is the answer to school shootings? Well, I'm going to tell you, folks, right now. One of the biggest things that we've got going for the shooters is those stupid little signs that all you liberals want to put out there. And this is a gun-free zone. As you see, people who are evil people who are intent on doing evil, don't pay attention to signs. Folks, we need to start arming our teachers. I saw a little write-up the other day about we have several million unemployed veterans, combat veterans, who could be hired and put in the schools as armed guards. Folks, we need to do something different. See, it's always been said, the point of insanity is repeating the same action and expecting a different result. Folks, that's what we're doing. We keep repeating the same action. No armed guards in the schools. One resource officer can't be everywhere. And that's what these criminals work with. Can we lock doors? Yeah, we can lock doors. What happens if a fire? Can the kids get out those doors? You know, folks, we've turned our schools, our hospitals, our courtrooms and stuff into shooting galleries because those who are intent on doing evil are going to do it. Now, let's talk about if they do get the gun control the way they want. China has gun control. I just read an article yesterday where a guy took a knife and stabbed 33 and wounded 113 more. In Corpus Christi, a week or so ago, guy went into a home church stabbing people. One died there. But we still need gun control. Folks, let's talk about cars. There are more drunk drivers on the road, more people killed by drunk drivers than were ever killed in a year's time by mass shootings. Folks, with your logic, we should be suing Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Chrysler, suing every car maker because they're not making sure their cars are in the hands of people who are not going to be drunk drivers. We now can sue in my home state. There's been a law in the books for years that If a bartender serves somebody that's knowingly drunk, the bartender could be held responsible for a DWI accident to kill somebody. Folks, I got a great idea. Let's make the criminal responsible for his actions. And if a bar owner thinks that somebody's drunk, folks, cut them off. But we need to stop the madness here, folks. A week or so ago, we had an accident here where a 19-year-old boy rear-ended a van out on the highway, killed 2 people. And the rest of them, out of, I believe, a family of 11, were in the hospital. Folks, stupid people are going to break the law any way they can. Banning guns, banning knives, banning hammers. We've already seen that legislating morality doesn't work with prohibition. So let's try something new. Let's try education instead of prohibition. Let's educate people as to what those weapons will do. Used to be we had shooting squads in every school. I remember going to school and seeing guys with 22 rifles and 12 gauges on the head racks. Now it's a jail sentence if you're caught. Folks, as long as we keep making the same mistake, repeating the same mistake, expecting a different result, the rest of the world can look at us and see how insane we are. And I have to agree with them. But if you want to live in a country like England or Germany, France, those European nations, or even Australia, move to Australia. Within the first 2 years of Australia doing away with their guns, their crime rate jumped. It quadrupled, if I remember right. Guns weren't the factor, but knives, hammers, saws, baseball bats. So, folks, when you start looking for the monster in the room, don't look at the inanimate object. Look at the human being wielding it. So, that's the world according to the ancient warrior. Enjoy the day. Please pray for the folks who were affected in Parkland. And hold your children and teach them how not to be victims. Thank you and have a good night.